Hello everyone, welcome back to Cello Tips. Today we're going to talk about how I practice. So the first question that always comes up with this subject is how much should one practice in a day? And this has to be quite balanced, and it depends on the individual, but if you practice too long, you could risk severe injury or burnout. And if you practice too little, you're not going to improve, and you're going to continue making a lot of mistakes. So for myself, what I've settled into and what seems to work in a balanced way for me is to do 6 blocks of 30 minutes each in a day. And usually how that's divided up is in the first part of the day, I will do 3 of those blocks with 10-minute break in between each one. And then I'll have a larger break in the day. I'll go do other things and then come back and then do the other 3 in a similar way later in the day. And that's what keeps things fresh for me, both in my mind and also physically in my hands. Now, the next question is what to do during the time that you're practicing. And the first thing that you all know I suggest based on my other videos is to think about what you want to improve in your technique. And I would suggest spending at least the first block, the first 30-minute block, focused on that, focused on purely working on your technique. So that means scales and exercises and such. Now, if you're very motivated about this and you really are in a place where you're focusing on advancing specifically your cello technique, then it's possible you could even go into the second 30-minute block still doing this, or maybe the first half of it. Otherwise, I think 30 minutes is more than enough. And also, as you begin to get more and more experienced, I would suggest making that even less so that you can focus more on the repertoire. Now, once that is over, my practice techniques themselves are quite simple. So what I'll do is first I'll be very organized about what repertoire I need to prepare. And I need to know which of the pieces are the most challenging, which need more time, and which ones are easier. And to give you a very general idea, I would say if it's a piece that I've played before and I'm quite familiar with, I would begin working on this piece 2 to 4 weeks before the performance or the audition or the competition, whatever it might be. Now, if it's a piece that is brand new and I've never played before, especially if it's challenging, I would ideally start that much, much earlier and maybe take time off from it and then come back to it again 2 to 4 weeks before the performance. So that's the sort of large scale organization. And then within the individual practice sessions during the day, I first would choose to begin with a piece that I'm focused on at that time, that is a centerpiece of what I'm working on, something that I find challenging, but also perhaps something that doesn't start off right away with extreme technical demands, because you want to ease into this throughout the day. You need to give your muscles time to warm up, even if you've already done some of the scales, but you need to ease into this repertoire a little bit. And then I will begin working on the music. So I'll start from the beginning. And this is really quite simple. It's nothing crazy. But start from the beginning and you play the music. And as soon as you play something that you don't like, that you want to fix, you want to change, go back and fix it and work on it. Spend however much time you need to work on it until you're satisfied. Then you will keep playing until the next moment comes that you're not satisfied with, and you will go and fix that. And you'll do this for the whole piece. And that those 30-minute blocks of time make sure that you don't get stuck and you don't get obsessed. So no matter where you are, when 30 minutes is up, you stop and take a break. That's very important. Now, say if things are coming very easily to you, and say with this method, you get through the whole piece and you're not even close to finish with your 3 hours of practice or whatever it is for you, then I would suggest going on to the next piece that you're studying at that point in time. If you don't have another piece, then go back to the beginning and do the process again. Yeah. If you feel like you're getting stuck in that piece, in that music, you're getting burnt out by it, then I would suggest to play something different. Work on a different piece, even if there's nothing you have to prepare immediately at the moment. Learn something new. Now, I will say that this process for working on repertoire is one that only really works if you already have more or less the ideas in your mind of how you want the piece to be played. Your interpretation should be something that comes from inside you and from your experience and your knowledge of the music, and not from technical habits that you create while practicing. So this type of practicing is never to create an interpretation of the music. It's only to make your interpretation come to life. I hope that's clear. So, yes, this is more or less my method for practicing. This is what works for me. I thought it's something I should talk about because oftentimes I think people don't really know where to start when they're working on their instruments, and they have end goals, they have people they want to sound like, things they want to do, but it can be very daunting to think about how to get there. So if you're in that boat, I would give this a try for a while. And remember, don't get frustrated and discouraged quickly. You need to give the process time to work itself through. And have faith in that, have trust in that. If you do something over and over and over again, and you are constantly critiquing what you're doing and learning about what you're doing, there's no way that you're not gonna improve. So I hope this helps, and thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.